Hello guys, this is Jerry speaking. Welcome to LJPCBM episode 370, and today we're reacting to Purple Tales Podcast episode 20. Now, we haven't done this since yesterday, since I haven't talked about this yesterday, and I was originally going to tape this yesterday, but I got pushed back till today, because I just came back from the beach for some strange reasons, and that caused me to get ready for taping 2 episodes of LJPCBM that day. So you ready? Let's begin the episode in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Continuing our look now at the best in children's television. This morning, the new kid, or dinosaur on the block.
So the big purple reptile that kids can't resist.
The big purple
dinosaur. Teaches about love and it just kind of like suits the kids.
And always, there's that signature song.
Yeah.
So what is this podcast that you have happened upon? We call it Purple Tales Podcast.
Exactly.
And before we get into why we're here, we just want you to know that it's important to us that you like us, you subscribe. I always forget.
Share it,
Yeah.
everybody, everywhere.
Oh my God, that must be a song from
Still.
from Barney.
We've been hearing cleanup all the time. I think we can use share as well.
It. Oh my God,
There-
now I'll remember that. Okay.
There you go.
Purple Tales Podcast.
Absolutely.
Sharing it, of course, is Carrie Stinson,
Hello.
Barney for 22 years inside the suit.
Yes.
How does it feel? And I'm Nancy J, by the way.
Hello.
So how does it feel to be outside the suit these days?
Oh, it's been amazing. It's been so much fun to get out there and get to tell these stories and kind of what I saw from inside. Now I get to tell it on the outside.
So
which is
basically,
fun.
for those of you who are new,
Yes,
this is
yes.
for fans, the
Yes.
people who worked, everyone who was ever
Yeah.
involved.
Well, and we want to let people know. We get so many people that loved Barney. We loved
Like I
it too,
do.
and we loved you, and we were working hard for it. We weren't there to just make a paycheck. We were there to share the love with you.
Now, when you said loved you didn't mean me. You meant
loved you
the
all,
fan.
loved you, loved everyone,
Oh, you guys.
everyone.
But it's fun. And what
Yeah.
has been fun. Last week we had you
Yes.
in the hot seat answering the
yes.
questions from our viewers, listeners, all the people who follow our podcast. That was
Yes.
really a lot of fun.
It was so great, and we had several that missed. And so they sent me more messages
Oh,
this
okay.
week.
Okay.
And by the way, I've started a Carrie Stinson page on Facebook, so they can keep
Which Carrie told me to like that post. If you watch this, Carrie, that's just me. Let's continue on.
sending me questions.
Excellent.
So, Carrie Stinson, actor, and you can send all your Purple Tail questions to me. I'd love to
Actor.
answer
Wow.
Are
them.
you actor? Are you going to put that on your passport now? As
Yes.
your job?
Yes.
Okay.
Wow.
I like it. I like Carrie Stinson actor.
But I had one that was so great from Tony K and his twin brother, Joey K. They asked about a song that was in Barney's Big Surprise. And it was called Listen to the Nighttime. And they said, well, it was on the CD, but it wasn't in the show.
Okay.
Well, it was the CD was recorded before the tour, and we used the song for just one night, and they felt that it got a little too, the energy dropped a little bit. Everyone kind of started, the nighttime became the bedtime, and they didn't want to drop the energy, so they removed the song and only made it for one night of the tour, but it was already recorded, so it went out.
But those twins remember it.
They do, and they love the podcast. They said to tell you hello, and they said,
Hello, boys.
keep doing it. We love Purple Tails.
Ah, lovely. And you've been really spreading the Purple Tales word.
I have been trying to get out there. Last night I did one talking about the message of love and how Barney loved everyone, that unconditional love, and also just the never giving up. My story of being from a busboy, not knowing how to dance, and all the crazy things that I went through. And a lot of us that are on the Barney Show kind of went through that. But I met this gentleman last night that told me this wonderful story. He was from Peru, and he and his wife sing every night to his kids the I Love You song.
Right.
They didn't grow up watching the show. They heard the show and they loved the message, and it's a tradition now. And he said every night, if one of the parents happens to say goodnight and turn the lights off, they'll hear, "Where's my song?" So every night, either one or both parents sing the "I Love You" song. And I love that. And that message, because those kids will grow up and they'll keep doing it. It'll just, the tradition will grow. And I love that. Talking about just how the fact, when the show was in the 90s, not everyone said "I love you," but now everyone's very comfortable with doing, or more comfortable doing that. I think we're going in that direction, which is wonderful.
Well, I have a note that I want to ask about you. These were some of the questions.
Sure.
That's another questions that we missed
Yeah,
of ours. And
yeah.
this comes from Sarah McPike, and of course she loves the show. And we want to. We always love hearing that. Thank you very much. Always
Absolutely,
love that.
Sarah.
But she wanted to ask this question after watching the Q&A episode with you, Carrie. She remembers in one episode of Purple Tales podcast talking about the Let's Go books and how you were Barney for most of it, if not all. She remembers reading them when she was little. So what was the process like? How did you pose for the pictures that got into the book? And was it fun to be Barney? And she quotes, out in the open, so to speak.
It was fun. The first episode, and you were starting out with the Barney universe at that time, Nancy.
Okay.
But Jeff Harris talked about Barney at the grocery store.
Yeah.
That was a let's go. We would go to different places, and the crazy thing is they didn't really let anyone know. So we did a pet store. Barney goes to the pet store, and we would shoot. They would set up different shots with the fish and all the different things, and they were so much fun. And a lot of times, in the pet one, in the background of a shot is my car.
Your personal car.
My personal car. They were like, we need. The back of that shot is empty, and so a lot of times we would get cars, or we would call, "Hey, we need someone," and people would call friends to be in them because we just get extras. So it was kind of a loose thing in some aspects of it, which was so much. We had so much fun.
How was that like, though, going into some place that wasn't expecting you, kind of out in the open, like Sarah said?
It was really cool. I really remember that grocery store one because we were in Dallas off of Mockingbird.
Okay.
And part of that was shot in the middle of a day. And we were in the frozen food department, and the store's open. So we obviously have a wrangler, kind of a security that's kind of watching us. But kids could just run up and go, "Oh my gosh, it's Barney," or "It's Baby Bob," and get a hug right there. And so that was a lot of fun.
Do you have any of those books still?
I do.
I think you're going to have to bring
I
some
do.
to show us. Do our show and tell.
Absolutely.
We love
I
that.
have
that.
Yes. Yeah, but which Barry Pearl.
That's right. Barry had started something.
Here we are now.
Man, he's really got it. Well, but Sarah, thank you because you kept
Thank you,
going.
Sarah.
You actually asked me a question.
Oh, look at that.
So this is like my first real question that someone's asked me. So, Sarah, thank you. And the question is, actually, why don't you read it? It's right here, Bear. I'm going to call you Bear. Carrie, all the names rhyme. It's great. No, just that last wing.
So what has it been like for you to be fully immersed into the Barney world with this podcast? Has it changed how you view children's programming?
Interesting that you should ask, Sarah, and that you should read that, Carrie.
Yes.
No, but seriously, my career has always been interviewing people, celebrities for the most part. And I mean, I've interviewed everyone from Oprah and Michelle Obama to, Denzel Washington, Will Smith, the Chris's, Chris Pratt, Chris Evans.
Right.
If you name a movie, I was interviewing all of those for that movie. I've even interviewed Selena Gomez, Zendaya's.
Oh, really? I didn't know.
Zac Efron. I've interviewed them all. But interviewing the people involved in the Barney world continues to be such a wonderful, wonderful experience because I find all these people are passionate, they're real. The memories may not all be the same or identical, but there has not been anyone that we have talked to that hasn't been charming and open and huggable, lovable, and I mean, I don't get to hug Chris Pratt, but I get to hug Barney. I get to hug Carrie Stinson. It's I've thought about that. And in terms of children's programming, I'm just sorry that there wasn't something like this when I was growing up. Yeah, there was Captain Kangaroo, Lamb Chop I liked, but there wasn't something like this that was actually for everyone and that
Right.
you could really learn. I mean, I was too old even for Sesame Street. So
Yeah,
as
which
far
is my childhood favorite. Continue.
as children's programming, I think it's important. I think it's important for it to be simple and for it to be relatable, but that it just is something that is. I just think simple is easy. I mean, because I think Barney is very, very simple at the end of the day.
It is, and you see the message today is still affecting people.
Yeah.
When you start talking about love and these things that seem so simple, loving everyone, but you see these light bulbs go off. A guy last night said, "Carrie, I got to tell you, I hated you.
Oh,
Not you
God.
personally, but I hated Barney. I hated Barney because my mom, daycare, and we heard the songs all the time." And he was, now I love it. I get the message, and I have children now, and that's the message that I want to see my children's have. And that's been really.
And I will mention to some of my friends, like in the Hollywood world, say,
Sure.
and I'll say, I'm doing this great podcast about Purple Tails. And
Right.
remember, I mentioned it to Kevin Costner, and he knew what was going on. So,
Yeah.
and I said, and they're like, oh, and they kind of, just, oh.
Right.
I said, no. You have no idea. I am learning so much. I respect these people, and all these different worlds have come together for one amazing product. And it continues to live. And I don't want to miss anything because you always have such great guests.
We had a fun one today.
Yeah?
Yeah, so we're going in a completely different direction that we have gone. So I started, I guess this was probably 2000. I left the tour and I went to do the TV show Barney and Friends, which was so exciting. They had kind of gone a new direction. So as Bob LaValle talked about with the trains, and we had new studios and all of those things. And one of the people that we had and who's here with us today is Anne-Marie Hurlbut, who was the studio teacher. She worked with all of the children, teaching them and working with them as we filmed the show.
Which I didn't know.
Thank you so
Anne-Marie.
much. Thank you. I'm so thrilled to be here. Thank you.
It's so great to see you. It's so great.
It's great to see
have
you. It's been a long time.
It has been a long
Oh
time.
my gosh. So you all actually did work together.
We did?
Yes.
Did you, what? You're the teacher. To teach him anything?
Oh, a lot.
And which was needed, which was absolutely needed.
No, he didn't need any teaching. He knew everything.
well,
He showed me the ropes.
We'll get to that in a minute because let's start out like we always do. How in the world did you become part of the Barney world?
I was so incredibly lucky. It's a very interesting story.
Let's start with you grew up in North Texas.
Yes,
Okay, we're
my
gonna go
family.
way,
Okay,
a few
great.
years, just a few years back.
Yeah, born in Minneapolis. My family moved down here to the Dallas area when I was about 5.
Okay.
I grew up in Carrollton. I went to Newman Smith High School. I went to Baylor for college, and I majored in elementary education with
Wow.
a specialization in reading. I taught in the Carrollton Farmers Branch School District after I graduated, and in Allen. And at that time, I'm like 23, and I wanted to do something artistic, but I wasn't sure what. And I thought about poetry and literature. I was really into literature and fashion. So I ended up working at an art gallery through a friend of mine. And it's very quiet there during the day. Very, very
Yes.
quiet. And back in this time, we used actual newspapers. And so there was a newspaper delivered every day, and I would go through it and would look at the classifieds out of curiosity. And there was an ad for a tutor for a young recording artist. And the company that placed the ad was out of New York City. And they said simply, fax your resume.
Do you remember what the company was?
Yeah, On Location Education.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure, I looked on their website not too long ago, and it was still functioning.
Wow.
But they were
Because I think
really
that's where
prevalent.
they got the teachers on the road,
Yes,
too.
yes, they were very prevalent.
Do you remember who the
this time.
recording star was?
She went by one name, so this was...
Beyonce.
No, it wasn't Beyonce. Michaela. And so she was a girl who toured with Britney Spears. She was a dancer for Britney, and she had just recorded a solo album. And I went to South Lake to interview for that position, lasted several hours. I was,
Wow.
It was down to me and one other candidate. And it was a man about my age. So long story short, they ended up choosing him.
And we see where Michaela's career went. If she'd had a better teacher, perhaps. But anyway.
She did have a hit single, like
Okay.
on the radio as I was driving to the interview that they played on like Kiss FM and things like that. But anyways, I told the company, if anything comes up, please keep me in mind. I'm so interested in anything. And so a few months later, they called me and said, well, we have this small one-ring nonprofit circus, and they need a teacher.
I do remember this.
Okay, wait.
I do remember this.
Wait.
Yeah.
It was so
Circus.
interesting. It was a nonprofit one-ring
I remember
circus.
this. Yep.
And they were in New York City because they stationed in Lincoln Center for like fall holiday season.
Yeah.
And so they said,
it
you
was
want to
Lincoln Center.
Lincoln Center?
I actually went up there.
Wow.
We took Barney up there
Wow.
to be part of that circus.
No way. That circus?
Barney did a ringmaster at that circus.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
At that circus.
That's amazing.
The one
I
ring
did not know
yes.
that. Yeah, it's a tent with a big star on it, and it's a one-ring circus, and they
yeah.
have.
Wow.
So you were the teacher. You
So
took that
I
job?
interviewed, got that job. I was a teacher. There were two teachers. There was me and another woman, and I taught the reading, literature, language arts, history, social studies for the kids, ranging from 2nd grade to 11th grade.
Wow.
And these were students that were these were kids of performers. The children of the ringmaster were in my students, and then kids of like the ticket holders, takers, and stuff like that. So it was really cool.
But you worked for the circus.
Yeah, I traveled with them. We started in Atlanta in February, and we drove up the East Coast. And I'd never been to these places. I'd never been to New York
that's
City
great.
and Atlanta and Boston and
Yeah, you never been to Atlanta. Well, true story that my Uncle Kevin recorded the Bar Live New York City tape, which is now lost. And then on that tape was Babe, the Sheep Pig, and the Rankin Bass version of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. And that was basically because I just think that I just don't know where it was. It was back in 2000 when I got lost, you know. And then all of a sudden, I just think that 2 years later, I got the tape that's now broken. And then in 2006, the one thing got delivered to my house. That was a good thing, but the bad thing is that it was a good decision to make. So, love that tape to death. It was awesome. So, continue on.
Vermont and Rhode Island. It was fascinating. I felt so lucky. It was awesome.
Yeah.
But you didn't run away to join the circus. You were actually asked to join.
I
so
was
that
asked.
was good.
Yes. And I got to use my college degree teaching.
There you see, very
So it was
rare.
fantastic.
So how long were you there, and then how did that get you to
Okay.
join?
Yes. So, their spring summer stint ended in August, and they invited me to come back they take like a break, couple months break, and then they go to Lincoln Center in the fall and January. They invited me to come
That's
back.
pretty standard. That's what we would do on the Barney tour too. You take that.
Yeah, well,
that break
everyone,
for a
the
couple-
animals needed a
yeah,
break.
you take a
everyone-
break for a couple
They
months.
also, they'll do new routines and
Sure.
stuff like that. So they invited me back, and I wanted to. I loved it. I was having a blast. But my brother, who's a year and a half younger than me, got engaged while I was on tour, and I had never met this girlfriend, and my mom passed away when I was 20, so I felt.
I did not know your mom passed away, and then your younger brother was engaged when I was having the tape, but that was cool. Continue.
Like I was the matriarch of the family, and I needed to go down and see what was going on in Dallas. Who is this girl? What do you mean you're getting married to someone that I've never met? I mean, it was unthinkable.
Yeah.
So, I regretfully said, no, I can't stay. And so our last spot was Rhode Island, and I drove from Rhode Island back to Dallas over a few days, and I went through the Blue Ridge Mountains, which were beautiful. And as I'm driving through, I get a phone call from my representative at On Location Education, and she started the phone call with, "Don't you live in Carrollton?" And I said, "Yeah." She said, "Oh, well, we have an opening for a position with Barney in Carrollton." I was like, "What?"
Did you know what that was?
Oh my gosh, yes. Oh my gosh,
Okay.
Barney,
Barney
so
was
huge.
at that time. He
Yes. Barney was
massive.
huge,
It was
and
massive.
you know, in Carrollton, and she said, well, they're moving into a brand new studio in Carrollton,
Okay.
and they are looking for a studio teacher. I mean, it was like exactly, it was like dream come true. It was total luck.
Well, we've
And-
talked about this a lot on this show. We talked this with Debbie Reese a couple of weeks, how the universe kind of puts you in. If
Yeah.
you just kind of listen to it, it's funny how things work out.
It was just crazy because I didn't know what I was going to do when I came back. I figured, okay, it's August. I have a couple weeks when I get home to find a position at a regular school.
Right.
Wow.
And they were starting. We were gonna film a Christmas video starting like September 1st. So I mean,
Christmas
the
star,
timing
Barney's
was
Christmas.
perfect.
So you sped through those Blue Ridge Mountains.
Like, gotta
Man.
get home. Gotta get to Barney. Yeah, so they offered me a position. I accepted. It was amazing, and then I started.
That's amazing.
And it's funny how that
So lucky.
all happens.
So lucky.
So let's talk about your first day. What was that? Where were you? What was that like? When
I
did you
was
meet
very
Carrie? All that?
intimidated. It was a big production. It was a Christmas video, and the videos were pretty big. We were
Wow.
at the studios in Las Colinas, and there were four kids who were on this video, and they had never done anything with Barney before, and I was new, and so it was pretty overwhelming. But everyone at the studio at Barney is amazing and very professional, and they know what they're doing, and so they made it pretty easy. I mean, after a couple days, it just seemed very natural.
Wow.
But one thing that did happen in I think it was a 2-week video production, and it was
was.
over 9/11.
It was 9/11.
And that was
Yeah, it was shocking because though I do not even respect 9/11, and it's so shocking, you know? That's just me. It just makes me react to this 9/11 thing. This is stupid plot for this. Let's continue on.
I was
We're there.
crazy.
Yeah,
I was there,
Okay.
and so to give you a little backstory, Barney had shut down production for a couple of years, and then they had restarted production. So they had mixed some of the old production people with new production people on this. So some of us were new.
So I wasn't the only newbie.
You were
okay.
definitely not the only newbie.
No, I felt like
It was my first with the TV show. I'd been with Barney for a long time, so a lot of us were new in that area, and
Yeah.
they are huge productions, and it was an amazing thing. And I do remember it was when 9/11 happened, and it'd be interesting to hear your perspective on it, because when it happened, it was a short day for the dinosaurs. They were shooting a lot of kids scenes that day, and so I was done when it was happening. I came out of the studio, and 9/11 was happening, and they pulled me aside and said, "Go home. Do not tell the kids. We want the kids to handle this with their parents. We will call you once we figure out what in the world is going on. Go be safe." So, interested to hear your
Yeah.
perspective on this.
So for the video, I was not only the teacher, but I was the wrangler as well, since it was such a short period of time. So the wrangler's job is to be on set with the kids at all time in case they need something. They need a break. They need to use the restroom. They need a drink of water.
Well, it was shocking, but it's just so sad to see what it looks like when they say "Don't tell the kids" thing. It was sad. You know, it really happens to me when it comes with this. Well, I was 6 when 9/11 happened, and I got mixed reactions to this stupid thing. You know, let's continue on.
So you're always with the kids. So I didn't hear about, the incident 9/11 until later, and we were at a lunch break, and like Carrie said, the kids were still filming, and one of the producers told me had whispered it in my ear, and I was shocked. And they said, "Do not tell the kids. We want everything to be light. We don't want the kids to get worried. Please don't talk
They need
about
to
it."
be with their parents. This was that time.
Yes.
Yes.
When they go home with their parents, the parents can talk to them about it. So I remember feeling like, what's going on? What's going on? Because I didn't really know. I didn't get to watch it on TV or anything. So when I got home that evening, I mean, I just was glued to the TV because I wanted to know what happened. But it was very stressful because, I can see grown-ups talking and whispering among themselves, and the kids did pick up a little bit on the tension. Some kids were like, "Well, what happened? What's?" I was like, "Oh,
They hear
no, nothing."
everything. Their
Right?
ears,
They do.
They hear
And we're
everything.
like, oh no, nothing. In fact, one of them thought they heard something and we said, oh no, that they're talking about a movie. You know, it's
And we're
not
talking
a big
about
deal.
little kids. I mean, these were all.
Yes.
So these were probably 3rd and 4th grade kids. So 8 and 9. Yeah.
Wow.
That's a big responsibility.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I'll never forget that.
Yeah, because it was incredible when we went back to shooting. We had the moment of silence that the country had, and I'll never forget that because I was in the costume, and we all sat and bowed our heads, and here we are in Barney, the happiest place you can
Right.
be, and we're all trying to deal with this, and I'll that's probably the moment that'll always stick with me, and it was a pretty incredible situation.
What does a teacher on a set do? What were your responsibilities? Did you have to go to work every day? Did you deal with crazy parents? I mean, there's a lot you can share with us.
Fortunately, I did not have any crazy parents. My
Get that
parents
one out of the
were
way.
great. I mean, I loved the parents that I worked with. I became very good friends with some of them. Like really, I went to Christmas parties with some of them, and still talk to some today. So I loved the parents. Very fortunate. So the day to day, we would coming in on Monday, the kids would do a table read. And that was pretty much the only thing they had that day. So Monday was a very school intensive day.
Well, we would have rehearsal.
Okay, we'd have rehearsal in the afternoon.
And we would have rehearsal.
Where they did their blocking
usually
and the
like
dance.
10 o'clock or something.
Okay,
Something like that.
okay. So then the afternoon was school time.
Yes.
Yes,
The
okay,
afternoon was school time.
Great. Okay, and then Tuesday they would film all day. Wednesday they would film all day.
Now, when you say all day, they had to finish at a specific time.
So
We would shoot all day, but I know they had
Yeah,
to.
yeah.
So we would have to do our scenes. I could come in early and do scenes, or I could stay late and do scenes that were dinosaur only. But the kids had a specific time, hours they could work.
Right,
and-
that's by law. They can only work
Right.
so many
Yes.
hours.
Right, and so there's a wrangler on sets. I wasn't the wrangler for the TV show. I was just the teacher, so it would have been too much responsibility. And the wrangler made sure that those hours were kept. So they started at a certain time and they ended at a certain time. They had snack breaks. They had a lunch break. And Bernie was really good about that. They never, abused that or took advantage of that at all. I mean, the kids were always a priority on the Barney show. So for me, I was responsible for making sure the kids had the required hours of school each week.
Yeah.
And the requirement is only 15 hours a week, which is about 3 hours a day. However, you don't have to do the 3 hours every single day. You can stack them on certain days if there's not enough time to get those classroom hours in. So that's what we did. We did school on Monday. We did school on Thursday afternoon and school all day on Friday. And sometimes the kids had to come in the previous week, actually usually, for costume fittings. And if they had to record a song, they would come in the previous Thursday or Friday. So I had them also in my classroom. So I would have, usually on Thursdays and Fridays, I would have 2 sets of kids coming in for the next week's episode that's going to be filmed, getting their prep work done, and then kids who actually filmed that week.
Yeah.
And then I coordinated with the teachers. Most of them maintained going to their public school or their regular school.
See, I didn't know that.
Yes. A few of them were homeschooled, but most of them just went to school or, like an ordinary kid when they weren't filming. And so I went to each school, met with the teachers, got textbooks, their curriculum, had the teacher's phone number and email, and the teacher would, each week, the teachers were responsible of giving me that week's worth of work that they had to do. And then I had to fill out my own reports for my company in New York because they did the paperwork with making sure that the studio was following the hours and all that. So every week I had to write a detailed report of each student and the work that they did and the hours that they were in school and things like that.
Because
So
the
it's a lot of
kids,
coordinating.
the kids weren't in each, like Barney
When
was
they
in
were
every
all in
episode.
different grades at different
the
schools.
kids were, they would, they
Right,
knew
there
who
were about
worked,
12 cast members, so they were different.
and
each
so they
week.
would know who worked well together and who,
Yes.
and what group, so they had them grouped. And what was also different is because we had stopped the production and then they had restarted, and because they did that, they were doing a new series, they went straight through. So we actually did 2 series. So
Yeah.
usually you'll do a series if you like a TV show on a network, they'll do a series and then they'll take a break and then they'll start again. We went straight for 2 series. We never stopped because they were trying to get the new episodes out to kind of, I don't want to say catch up, but to get that out there. So we went straight, taking a break here and there, but it was pretty intense.
So you taught for 2 years. Is that about right?
Yeah, two seasons.
2 seasons.
Yes, and a video.
And whoa. So wait, who were some of your students? Anyone?
Oh my goodness. All my students were amazing. They were all wonderful. I remember every single one. But
You
yes,
brought some pictures too
I
to
brought
share.
a bunch of pictures. I brought an overflowing scrapbook.
In fact, oh my God!
Wow.
Okay, first of all, Anne Marie, you have not changed.
Oh my gosh.
I think
Oh man, you were so cute in that photo with Sarah, Cammy, and then there's Mario. Okay, that was great. Okay, that was so adorable, these pictures. Okay, let's continue on.
are those the same glasses? I swear.
Yeah.
Look at you. You're adorable.
That's funny. Thank you so much. That's so sweet.
Oh my God! So who were these
So,
kids? We're
oh
showing a
goodness.
picture of
So
obviously
this-
Anne Marie and.
This is us having fun. This is my classroom. I decorated the classroom. It was a bare room when I inherited it.
Yeah.
And I actually would go to like the art department and say, hey, do you have any bookshelves I could put in my classroom? And they did have some tables and chairs for the kids to do their schoolwork at, but it was pretty much bare other than that. So I made those flowers. I put up all the decorations and stuff like that. But okay, so in the middle we have Hayden Tweedy.
Hey, Tweety,
And
okay.
she's adorable. Next
She is adorable, yeah.
her on her left, we have Michaela Crawford. She was an Oshkosh kid. She was actually on a billboard in Times Square for Oshkosh. And then Zach Fountain is the last one.
And
Yeah, both of these kids were adorable.
you know, all of the Barney fans are going to know every kid. I mean, they're going to be so excited to see these pictures.
Yeah.
Oh,
So yes, I was there for Selena and Demi's
So
time on Barney.
Selena.
Wow.
Uh,
This is Selena, excuse me, and who was that in the right? Okay, let's continue on.
That
Look
is
at
Selena
that.
Gomez on the left. And this was during an episode where they had to pretend to be rock stars.
Wow, okay. Okay, this is cool. Okay.
Isn't that appropriate? So that's why she has her hair all
my God.
teased
Yeah.
out like that.
and
She's
it's
wearing
big hair.
makeup.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man. Selena, Demi, these are the greatest, cutest celebrities I've ever seen.
Yes.
Adorable. Oh, and here's
Okay, this is a
talent
wrap.
show, or?
This was a Christmas party. We have Grayson Vanover. I'll go from left to right. Grayson Vanover, Michaela Crawford, Selena Gomez, Demi Lovato, Hayden Tweedy, Kayla Levels. And they went up like impromptu and did some karaoke for us.
I wouldn't have recognized Demi. She just, I mean, Selena looks the same. I think.
Yes.
Oh, that's so cute. That, I mean, those are like your first kids, huh?
Okay, this.
There they are again.
Oh,
There's a
boy.
story behind.
Oh, Selena and Demi were cute in this photo. Continue.
This.
Okay, so describe this
sorry.
picture if you would, Anne-Marie.
Okay, so this is lunchtime. We have Demi being Demi on the left. They notice they've put corn in their teeth. Selena being cute, adorable Selena in the middle, and Hayden being creative, cute, spunky Hayden on the right. And these three were really good friends. These three hung out, on the weekends and stuff like that for a while. They were good friends.
Wow.
And we had a lunch hour every day. And we had delicious lunches served to us.
still.
But all the kids sat with me and the wrangler at the kids' table.
Wow.
And I would invite different people in the studio to come sit and be like the person of honor at our table. And I think at first, people were a bit hesitant because they like to chill with the grown-ups over the lunch hour. But I made the kids' table cool. And by the end of the second season, I think almost everyone was a guest of honor at our table. And I remember Fred was a guest of honor. Nick Ballerini, who was the stage manager, was a guest of honor. Carrie came into our room all the time to say hi. Like, I have many pictures of Carrie. I brought a few today. But yeah, like the kids loved him.
Now, the funny thing is I never joined them at lunch because I didn't eat there. People knew me. I went out for lunch every day, because I was in that building so much and in that costume so much that I needed fresh air. And just so a lot of us would go out.
That
So
makes
I
sense.
actually
That makes
would go out just to have a break from it before I went back. Otherwise, I would have joined the table.
That's the first time you've admitted that.
I didn't even
Wow.
See, nobody knew
Yeah.
that. But it's understandable.
Yeah.
But he
Yeah.
was.
I
But he
need to
was
see the
yeah.
sun and or the rain or whatever it may be, and just
Outside the
just
suit.
have a moment before we
Yeah.
go back.
Okay,
sense.
look, cute picture
But
here.
here's
What have
the
we got here?
classroom again.
Oh my gosh, describe the classroom. It's so cute.
Wow, Mario, Beth, and I don't know whose the actress name is, and Whitney, again, I don't know the actress name is. It's so cute.
You got so much stuff.
Thanks. It was a pretty large room. I pulled in that chalkboard from somewhere, had a computer station over there. The kids sat at the little tables. To the left of that picture, there's a corner in the back where I got a couch from somewhere, and I bought this really cool lamp, and that was the reading nook. And there were pillows, and there was a couch. And then I had an art board, I called it my art center, where I had the kids make faces of themselves on construction paper, and we did that. I have some pictures of the project that we're doing, and so the art center is everyone's represented on that board. Then I have my behind the person taking this picture would be right next to my teacher's desk, and then the kids had cubbies when they walked in the room to put all of their stuff, because they would come with like the clothes they're wearing, and then they would have to go to wardrobe and change into their costumes.
Who are these kids?
So the redhead standing next to me is Catherine Poley, amazing kid.
Calvin Pulley's so adorable.
Behind her is Zach
Sosa.
Zosa, amazing kid.
Yeah, he was awesome.
Zachary Sosa, and then
He
Caleb
wanted to
Wells.
know everything we were doing, what the directors did, what the producers
Brilliant.
did. He
Yes.
wanted to be part of everything.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, they were all just so sweet.
And the other little girl?
Kayla Levels.
Oh, that's Kayla again. Okay.
Yes.
I love seeing the date on this. August 02.
Yeah,
Wow.
that would have been our second season.
And if you heard the silence in the background, yeah. Sorry about that. Just ignore that. Continue on.
Okay, so this is on my chalkboard. They made this themselves, and as you see at the top, it says "Don't erase."
Yeah, don't erase. The Barney. I can't read that. The Barney Kid Cast, whatever that means. Okay, whatever.
And each kid drew themselves and signed it, and that was up for a while.
It says the Barney Kid Cast. Do you still have that, or did you get to take any? Did you get to take anything with you when you left? Besides
I did
memories
not.
and pictures?
I did not. Everything in the classroom stayed there.
Oh my. What does it feel like to look back at these pictures and to talk about
I am
your life
so
17
proud
years?
of that time in my life. I'm so proud to have worked on Barney and Friends, and I miss it. It was such a happy time. We were happy. We had fun. Everybody was so nice. It was like a family.
Wow.
The Barney that everybody knows and loves that they see on the TV show is a reflection, a complete reflection of the Barney family behind the scenes. It really is.
Talk about these kids though that were little actors. I mean, most of them was their first time, except for
Yes.
the kid who did the little girl who was
Yes.
the Oshkosh, was it? Or?
She had done some modeling.
Yeah, the
kid
modeling. Okay.
Yes.
But how did you keep track of everyone? I mean, did you have to take notes? You said you had to report back to the agency.
Yes. So I definitely had notebooks on each student, so I knew where.
Did you bring any of those by any chance?
No, those are not.
Oh.
I don't have those anymore.
Okay.
You know what I did bring though is, so at the end of each season, I had to write a report and submit it to On Location Education, and I found these, and I had to write one on each student, and I had to write some paragraphs about their experience with the studio and their academic performance, and I did bring those today.
Okay, okay. Please, yeah, absolutely. Share some of that with us.
Oh
if
my
you would.
goodness. So,
Please.
I mean, each child was really so very special and so very talented and very sweet. All of these kids were super good, so well behaved, so respectful, fun, charming, talented. I mean, I could go on and on. They were just exceptional kids.
And they went through so much.
Such a treat.
They had to go through Barney Camp, which is to to meet us all out of the costumes and to understand the safety on the set of, the big costumes and not get knocked over and do all of these kind of things. They had to go to recordings each week to sing the songs. They had to go to table readings. They had to go to choreography. They had to do the rehearsal before the show. So there was a lot going on, and then they had to go to school.
When I look back at it now, I'm amazed at how much responsibility these kids had. I now have a 9-year-old daughter myself, and she's going into 4th grade, and I'm astounded at these 9-year-olds. These were 8, 9, and 10-year-olds when I taught there. How much responsibility they had and how well they managed it. Because like Carrie said, they had a full day. They had to be at the studio by 7:30, and many of these kids' families lived pretty far away. I know Selena's family lived in Grand Prairie. That's a long drive. Zachary Souza's family actually lived in Austin. So they would come up, the mom and Zachary would come up, and they would stay in a nearby hotel for the week or week and a half that he had to be here. So that's commitment. I mean, these families were so committed and so happy and thrilled to be on Barney. It was just such a great feeling.
And in the morning for them, they would go into wardrobe. So for me, I would just have to get ready, but I didn't have to get makeup or anything done. They'd have to go through makeup and wardrobe, get their mic set, all of this stuff before they even hit that set.
Maybe it was easier just putting on a suit.
Well, that part was easier. It's the rest of the day that was a little more difficult. But that part, yes, I didn't have to do any of that.
Yeah, they had a full day. So by lunchtime, they had been performing for 4 hours. I mean, they'd had breaks, but we'd take an hour lunch, and then they'd go back into makeup and hair to get refreshed, and then they go back and perform again. We stopped usually 4:35, because 8 hours is definitely the max for the kids. So it was a full day, and then then they'd go home and then come back the next day, and then on the times that they weren't actually filming on the studio, on the sets, they would be in my classroom and we'd be getting out their work. Okay, what work do you have this week?
Did you give them
Let's go
homework?
over. Well, I didn't give them homework, but the teacher sometimes did.
Okay.
But they usually, it was our goal that when they left on Friday, after they were finished with one episode, they would have their work finished. Sometimes they didn't finish it and they did have to do it over the weekends. And I was always clear with the parents, this is what we were able to accomplish today. This is what needs to be done before the student goes back to school on Monday.
Okay, let's read some of those.
Okay.
Final report. And I'm looking at May 2002. Okay.
Yeah, May 2002. So one of my students was named Catherine Poley. And
We just
Catherine,
had Catherine up.
she
Catherine was up?
she
Okay.
was the redhead.
She was the
Oh,
redhead.
redhead.
good. Okay.
And she's from Dallas.
So awesome. She was
Brilliant.
just awesome.
Super
Amazing, yeah.
smart. I brought a picture, maybe we'll see it in a bit, where she dissected an eyeball, a cow's eyeball, and brought it up
Really? Continue on.
to school and scared Shelley with it. She had it behind her back.
And Shelley, all right, everyone will remember.
Choreographer, yes.
I have something to show you, and then waved it in her face, and Shelley jumped back, and I have a picture of that one. It's really funny. That's Catherine.
That's great.
But this is what I said about Catherine Poley. I'll just read a few bits, but I started with, Catherine Poley may very well be our first female president. This girl is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Balancing a full-time acting job with an accelerated curriculum has not been difficult for Catherine. Where most children would tend to get stressed by the pressures of two demanding environments, Catherine has moved between her private school and the studio with amazing ease. She attended Episcopal School of Dallas, and her work was pretty challenging.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Catherine's confidence and concentration enabled her to thrive academically. She attacked complex and tedious assignments with single-minded devotion, resulting in an A+ average, as well as on the set where she is a leader and model actor among her peers.
Love your writing. That's very good too.
Thank you.
So, what is she doing now? Do we know?
I don't-
We
I
need to find
connected
out.
with her.
I connect with her
Yeah,
on Instagram.
I do too.
I
do
believe
too.
she's in New York. She went to she went to Duke, I believe. Her dream school was Duke back then, I remember that. And she did want to be America's first president. But I believe she's in New York now. And I don't know if she's in finance or law. I'm not exactly sure.
We'll have to find out.
Yeah, I think so. She was.
What else?
Okay, so
Amazing.
Zachary Souza, we were talking about him.
Yeah. Love Zach.
Carrie said that he was always asking questions, and he would talk to the cameramen, the
Stuff
directors.
with Legos. He was doing all
Yes,
kinds
and
of
he
things.
was, so now he's an artist now.
Yes.
But let me tell you some of the stuff I wrote about him. Zachary Sosa is an utter delight to work with. He is bright, imaginative, compassionate, sweet, and respectful. Concerning his schoolwork, Zachary always works diligently at each assignment, and due to his intelligence, his work seems effortless. He seldom complains and seldom needs redirection. Zachary also has an extraordinary writing talent. Throughout his extensive journal entries, he displayed an unusual ability to create intriguing plots and situations, as well as to express himself articulately and creatively. He is a precocious writer and a very funny one, too. We thought he would be a director one day.
Yeah.
We did. That's what we
Wow.
thought.
They had to have journals?
No, he brought his own journal.
Oh,
He had his
Yeah.
own journal, and he had drawings in it. I remember the drawings, and he would write stories.
but he's an artist now.
He is. He's an artist.
Yeah.
And he lives in Austin.
He lives in Austin.
Nice. Okay.
Well, they were all fascinated, and the crew wanted to help them. They wanted to show them what it was like to be a director or a cameraman or things of that nature. Loved that they were, because there was a lot of downtime when
Sure.
setting scenes and things.
Is there a Demi Lovato? Maybe a
Demi Lovato, yes.
Yeah, let's just say, what?
Of course.
Oh boy.
Okay, Demi. Demi Lovato is a very intelligent, responsible young girl.
Mm-hmm.
And she was. I remember her so well.
Yeah, she was very caring.
Yeah.
She was
was-
very sweet.
She was.
So my next sentence is she has a streak of perfectionism which drives her to have tremendous expectations for herself and to work hard to fulfill those goals. She was very goal oriented from the time I met her. She was taking voice lessons with a well-known voice coach, and her singing was amazing.
Yeah.
When she was 9 years old, she could hit all these notes. It was phenomenal.
Well, and you would know this. So here's another tidbit for you. The gentleman that recorded them singing was my brother.
Yeah.
So, as you remember Casey?
Yes, I remember Casey.
Yeah, Casey
Yes.
did all the recording. So he was the one coming to me going, Demi Lovato has
Yeah,
got
I mean,
a
amazing,
voice.
amazing.
Back then, my brother has an amazing ear, and he was like, this girl has got a voice.
She would sing
Yeah.
for us, like in the classroom, like do little concerts and stuff. It was
Isn't that
incredible.
amazing? That is so cool.
Wow.
Yeah, she was so talented. She was also extremely intelligent. She was homeschooled, and she also had a pretty challenging curriculum, and she could
nailed it.
conquer it. Yeah.
Wow.
She went after it. Let's see, what else do I have?
I'm looking at the very last sentence.
With such a combination of intellect, determination, and gregariousness, Demi will continue to thrive in this industry. Was I prophetic or what?
Yes, and you're a seer. This is wonderful. Oh my gosh.
That describes her. She has intellect, determination, and she is gregarious.
When's the last time you saw Demi?
The last time I saw her was at the Texas State Fair, probably about 12 years ago.
And for people that don't know, the Texas State Fair is
It's
huge.
huge.
It's
Huge.
Wow.
It is huge.
Of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah. So I went to see her in concert, and at the time, I was dating someone, and he had some kids, and so we took his children. And anyways, we went backstage. I wanted to see if I could say hi to her, and there was a long line of people, children wanting autographs and stuff like that. So I wrote on a note of paper that, hey, I'm Anne Marie Hurlbut. I was Demi's teacher. Can I just say hi to her real quick? Gave it to the security guard standing outside of her trailer. He goes and gives it to her. Wait a few minutes. She comes out. Security guard takes me to the very front of the line, me and the three children I was with, very front of the line. We embrace. I'm crying. She's tearing up. Her mom comes out, gives her.
awesome.
I mean, it was amazing. It was
Another
amazing.
Barney lesson. It's who you know.
Well,
Yeah.
It's that Barney family, though. All those things they've done, but we remember how they were part of the family.
You were her
Yeah.
teacher.
I was and I remembered her mom very well.
Yeah, they were
Nice.
great.
Yeah, Diane De La Garza.
Okay.
Really sweet.
Next. Who's it next?
Okay, I've got Selena's right here. Selena Gomez is a sweet child who is very popular with her peers, and she was probably the most popular one.
Yeah, especially Demi. So, because they're both great in this part of this. They're both great as part of this whole Disney Channel stars. That's just me. Let's continue on.
So Selena has successfully weathered the transition between school and the studio. I'm trying to just pick pieces. Selena is eager to please, and this endearing quality makes her a joy to teach. Yeah, Selena. My impression of Selena was very sweet. She also loved to act, so she lit up when she was acting. She liked to act in the classroom. She wanted to put on skits and like, oh, let's do this and let's. She was born to act. She was born to be a performer. I really believe.
Yeah, I mean, we all knew. We all knew. Every
made
member
her
of
so
that
happy.
crew, casting crew, knew she was going to be a star.
Yeah, I just wanted to do the same thing as Selena, like, when I was a kid. But now I'm a film editor and do other things to make films, TV shows. If you're watching Selena Gomez, you know, it was awesome. Just to let you all know. Mwah. Continue on.
Yeah, yeah.
Any of the other kids? I mean, they
Super
all
sweet.
stand out, and I know they're all special. But
Hayden Tweedy.
Hayden Tweedy. Okay. Hayden Tweedy. Let me
Love
find
Hayden Tweedy.
Yes, and I had lunch with Hayden twice last summer in
Yeah.
California, in Los Angeles. I took my daughter too. We got to meet her.
Oh, that's
She's
awesome.
in acting out there, and
oh wow,
yeah,
She's awesome.
super sweet girl.
Yeah.
Okay, Hayden Tweedy. Hayden Tweedy is like a ray of warm sunshine on a fresh spring day. She has the unique ability to love everybody. Hayden is sensitive, insightful, intuitive, creative, and artistic. She will flourish in any branch of the humanities, particularly literature, drama, and the visual arts.
Wow.
Furthermore, to Hayden's own benefit, and ours as well, she's extremely hardworking. The coursework assigned by Hayden's regular classroom teacher was heavier than that of any other child in the Barney cast. However, Hayden did not only diligently take on each and every assignment, but she did so with dedication and without complaint. So yes, her teacher would give her piles of work, which I thought was too
Excessive.
much. It was ridiculous. Yes. And so I would mark things out. You know, if you have a page of 30 math problems and they're all the same double-digit multiplication problems, and you've mastered it, 30 problems is unnecessary. So I would cross out a line and say, you know, do the first 2 lines. And I would write notes to the teacher saying, Hayden understands this. She's mastered this skill. I'm not making her finish this page. And it's funny because Hayden's mom is a teacher. And Hayden's mom would say, oh, no, she's going to finish that page. We would have disagreements. And Hayden was just so sweet. And she would, just such a hard worker, would do anything that, you know, we asked her to do, and always happy. Always had a smile on her face, always greeted everybody with a hug. Super
but
sweet
the
girl.
people
Yeah.
surrounding her were good. You're like the best teacher ever. I mean, you look more like the babysitter, you know.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
So I'm sure they loved that. I mean, you were one of them.
I felt
many ways.
I tried to be that. Yeah.
So
I really
those are
loved
the
them.
final reports.
The final
What made it
reports.
final? Why did you leave this position?
Oh goodness. Okay, so my recollection is that Barney started slowing down their filming. So like Carrie said, we did 2 series pretty much back to back.
And then they took a break.
Yes. Okay, they took a break. So we finished in December
Wow.
of 2002 with the second one.
That sounds.
Yeah.
Here's all your kids. Another
Oh,
picture.
so this
and
is
There
on.
they are.
This is on the.
So adorable, okay? Oh, man. One of the things that bring up these cute kids, okay? Oh, man. Oh, man. Look what's going on next to these kids. So, there you go. Let's continue on.
Large set, the outdoor set, and yeah, that's
all the kids are there. All
that's
of them.
everyone.
Acting up.
Yeah, yeah,
Being kids.
being kids. So they were going to take a break for a while, and I wanted to continue working and teaching. So I got in contact with the agency out of New York who found this spot for me, and asked them, you know, what do you have in the pipeline? What's coming up? You know, what do you have going on? And they said, oh, well, we've got this Broadway tour out and about. And I didn't know when Barney was going to continue to film, because the break was, from my recollection, it was kind of indefinite. And I was, you know, a young single person on my own. I needed to make a living. And it really was a financial decision. I loved Barney. Would not have left for any other reason unless, except for, but I needed to make a living. So the company in New York said, our teacher just had to leave. And so we now have this opening. And I had actually substituted for this teacher on the same tour that summer when Barney was on a break. I went down to Houston. It was the Beauty and the Beast Broadway, Disney Broadway tour. And so I already knew the production manager. I knew people already. And so I didn't, they're like, we're just going to sub you in. And so I did. I think my first day was January 1st, I want to say, in Boston. So I flew out to Boston and I finished the tour with them. And that was amazing. I was the teacher of the two little boys who played Chip the Teacup on stage. They were two third graders who would take turns playing Chip the Teacup. And I was their teacher.
So then after that, what happened?
So after that,
okay, we got circus, we got Barney, we got Broadway.
Yeah.
Touring.
Right. So I'm sure you remember touring is exhausting.
It's exhausting.
And you miss being home. So you live out of hotels in a suitcase for months and months and months on end. We didn't have an actual day off for the first 14 weeks that I was touring.
We did
not with Barney, but with Beauty.
Yeah, Barney. I didn't really have one because we were doing PR stuff. The kids obviously had days off, and they had school and all those things. But yeah, it's grueling.
Yeah.
It's fun.
It is fun.
And like she said, when you haven't been to New York and you haven't been to Atlanta yet,
so exciting.
Awesome. When you've been there 4 times, it changes a little bit, and it becomes more of a job.
So we got to fast forward a little bit and see where. I mean, so after Broadway, did you get back into teaching? I mean, is that?
So yes. So then I came back home. Home is Dallas, and I've been in Dallas ever since. I taught at a magnet school in Dallas called Sidney Lanier. It's an academy for the arts. It's one of DISD's magnet schools, and it's amazing. Then I was a talented and gifted teacher at another Dallas school, and I'm still in Dallas. At a DISD school in Northwest Dallas off of Walnut Hill.
I am a product of the DISD.
Yes.
So I just want to thank, obviously good teachers. Wish I had you as my teacher.
Thank you. We try. Dallas teachers work really hard. Well, we love our kids and we work really hard.
What do you bring from your Barney years to your life today, to teaching your daughter, your darling daughter Ava?
I think the love of kids, the lightheartedness, the happiness, the feeling on set with Barney was very loving and familial. It was very important that everybody be super kind and sweet and patient and generous. And I think that's just, I love that. That's kind of part of who I am anyway, but that definitely has stayed with me. And that is the way I like to be with kids. Happy and understanding and patient and that sort of thing.
So it sounds like the things that Barney was teaching were already there. I mean,
yeah, we were doing what we were preaching. It wasn't just throwing it out to the world, and then on the set people were yelling at each other. We were doing the same thing.
I don't remember any
that we were doing out
or
there.
any drama. None at all. The opposite. We loved being around each other.
We did.
Everybody was fun.
Oh yeah, we'd hang out afterwards and all that stuff.
When the kids, so one thing I thought I felt so lucky to be able to do is when the kids were filming, and there were a couple days sometimes when I wouldn't have a student in my classroom. So I would go around to the different parts of the studio, the art department, wardrobe, props, and I would just talk to people. Like,
This foe is Demi and what kind of episode is that? Okay, that's cool enough. Let's continue on.
About what you do. And it was fascinating. I loved it.
It was a huge building with a lot of people
there. It was very big. Yeah.
So there we have, I guess that's you, Carrie.
That is me.
It is. That's
inside the.
It's the Studio B. That'll be inside the caboose. And from left to right, we have Hayden Tweedy, Kayla Levels, Grayson Vanover, and Zachary
Loved
Simpson.
Grayson. He was
so cute. I used to babysit for he and his younger brother all the time.
So much fun.
Yes, he had this thing called the fried chicken dance where he would.
Yes.
He was one of the younger ones too.
Yeah.
I always ask this, as we get all this information and as we kind of wrap things up.
Yeah.
Is there a Barney magic? Is that true?
Oh, I think so. I felt it when I was there. I really did. It's such a special memory to me. So unlike anything I've ever been in, and I've done some cool things, but the feeling and the people of Barney were truly remarkable, truly special, just heartwarming.
Would you do it again?
Oh, and heartbeats.
Oh.
I didn't even have to finish the sentence.
Let's do it.
Oh, absolutely. The magic is alive.
So,
And well.
do you have a favorite song that you want to take us out on?
Let's see. Not the cleanup song. My
we
daughter,
don't-
my daughter does the cleanup song very well. We sing that all the time, cleaning up.
It works out well.
It works very
right?
well.
It
Yes.
works well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. What other
ready?
song? Okay.
Okay.
Which one are we doing?
The theme song.
You get us started.
Okay. I'm not a singer, but I'll try. I'm no Demi. I love you. You love me. We're a happy family with a great big hug and a kiss from me to you. Won't you say you love me too?
I love you too, and I love you too. I think that's the first time we've had the whole song. Will you come back?
Yes.
And talk some. I know you've got
Yes,
so many
I've
more
got-
stories, and you got a whole thing,
There's a whole
and
book
more
over there.
pictures,
There's
and
a whole book.
I mean, you're the first person I've ever met from the circus. So I mean, I'm very.
Yeah, yeah.
What a lovely, lovely life you've had
Thank
so far, and
you.
you continue to have.
Thank
you.
So good to see you. Thank
Good
you
to
for
see
being
you.
here.
Thank you
Gosh,
guys. Thank you so
you're-
much.
you've
So
done
much fun.
This is a blast, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that was Purple Tales Podcast, episode 20. What do I think about this episode? It was amazing. So far, this episode went to be a success. Anyways, double episode of LJPCBM, episode 370. Hope you enjoy it. Stay tuned for the next one. It's going to be Purple Tales Podcast, episode 21. But until next time, this is Joe saying goodbye. Peace out, baby. We can watch me out to you guys very soon. But it's man Jeff was saying out. See ya.
Given unto me this life I'll never take for granted, and given all the time I failed to really understand it, I never sought to meet the maker of reality, the one who gave the life that which is always happening, but I tried all the time.